Hill.
Kaley Hill. Sorry, I did not get that piece of information before I came on this morning. So
It's
sorry,
okay.
sorry if my brain's a little bit everywhere today, y'all. But we're gonna get through this podcast and we're gonna have a fun time. Hopefully, we pray. Um, I think we usually have this question for everyone who comes on the podcast. How's your week?
Oh man, it's been an emotional week. We had our last dance recital for one of my kids. So after 16 years of dance, we are done.
Oh yeah.
So that was last night. Lots of
Aren't you
tears.
just excited?
Lots of tears.
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 Tears. Good tears or bad tears?
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Walking away from something that's been fun.
Been fun. Well, it seems like when you were talking to your kid last time, you didn't you didn't really like dance recitals.
They're stressful.
They're stressful. I see.
Bittersweet. Bittersweet.
Bittersweet. Okay. Well, I mean, at least, like it's over now, and you don't have to worry about it.
It is over.
And also, you cannot be like stressed out, you know. So maybe the sarcasm goes down a little.
It will never go down any.
I tried, guys. I tried. I really did. Like, how long did we try to get you to like not be sarcastic? I
Lent,
think it was
so
like
40 days.
40 days. 40 days. And she could not survive.
I tried. I didn't know when I was doing it. It's hard to stop something you don't know you're doing.
Listen, I've heard the first thing to admitting you have a problem is admitting you have the problem.
Well, I admitted it. I didn't know when I was doing that. I needed the account. I needed somebody to just follow me all day long and be like, "You did it again."
You did it again.
But no one was willing to just follow me in my life.
So Allie's not like, you did it again.
No, she's in a room a lot. I know,
I
right?
can't believe. She's
No
like,
accountability. She's just like, I need some
she's-
downtime.
I don't think she needs downtime. I think she needs to talk to her mama. But anyways, so let me pull up the thing.
Right.
you
I
sent
mean,
me.
I thought you were prepared. Sheesh.
I am prepared. Just like like I'm slow in the brain this morning, so it's like
Well, it's early, so no worries.
very early. So let's see. It says here that you were raised in a church. You were pretty much raised in a church your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
You made the decision to be saved somewhere around 10 through 12, and you're not 100% sure, and but not 100% sure, and was baptized in early teens.
Yeah.
So, give me a little rundown on like how you got saved, or is that the part you're not 100% sure about?
I just don't remember about what age I was.
So how did it go?
So I think it was just like, I was raised in Glad Tidings. And it was such a huge church at the time. And I had such a huge just involvement. And I mean, at the time, we would do like revivals, and we had these big plays, the judgment, and we had just all this stuff. And we were really involved. And it just was just our life, really. We were just there a lot. And so it just seemed like being saved was just like the thing I should do, I
Yeah.
think. Was like, why am I not saved? So I think it was just like a logical
It was
next
just like
step
a logical next step.
at the time in my life, because it was just like all of my friend group. It was just everything that we did. Like I went to
Yeah.
school and then we went to church, and like most of my outside of school was church.
Yeah. I feel like that's for a lot of people though. They make that logical like next step.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do grow up in a church. Some, yes, of course, stray away from church, and that's kind of like their decision. But like they grow up to know like
Yeah.
this is what I want to do, and so they get saved as a logical next step, as you said.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also, I know that you've done. Let's see, what was it? Like the actual name of it, your job.
Oh, I'm a certified addiction counselor.
Okay. Certified addiction counselor. So I know you've done I know you've done addiction counseling.
Mm-hmm.
How has that played into your faith, and how's that built you?
Honestly, I think that it's brought me closer in my faith because I think growing up in the church, it was just like I never questioned church or faith or anything, you know. It just was like what you do.
Yeah.
So actually growing up and like with a logical brain, like reading the Bible, and there's so many contradictions in the Old Testament and the New Testament and stuff. And I started seeing these contradictions and I started questioning a lot of things. And I kind of started thinking, like, is this for me? But then actually doing the work and seeing people come into treatment just broken and seeing them um,
What?
why are you not being heard, Sam? Lord have mercy. Why are you the problem? I was doing such a great job too. Yeah. We're having technical difficulties, guys. We're having technical difficulties, guys, and he's gonna fix it. He is such a fixer. Probably.
He is the problem solver. Oh, just say the darn changes, you dude.
I'm just glad that I'm not the problem because usually it's me.
No, 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 you're fine. Yeah, okay. Now I'm able to be heard.
Fix it.
All right. Looks like I'm about to have to start that whole thing over again. Okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Sam Mesh from Bridging Beliefs Podcast. I'm your host, and today I have my special guest, Kaley Hills, with me, and she does drug counseling and addiction counseling, and she's here to talk with us today about mainly some of that, but also kind of her walk with Christ and how she's doing and what's it been like counseling, uh, doing abuse counseling and stuff like that. I keep using the wrong word, but anyways, say hi.
It's
Okay, there we go.
hey, hi guys.
So let's just start that over one more time. How's your week? How's your week?
My week has been bittersweet. It's been so emotional. We had a dance recital. It was our last dance recital, so we had to say goodbye to dance after 16 years. It was stressful because recitals are, but it was very emotional
Okay.
just saying goodbye.
So I mean, yeah. So stressful. At least you're out of it, and you don't have to be stressed anymore. And just kind of a recap. I don't know if y'all have heard. Y'all probably heard her, but basically we went through this whole thing of like talking about like how her faith played into her uh, drug counseling, abuse counseling, and not that. Yeah, that threw me off. Yes, it is. No, it is. There's no doubt about it. Oh my gosh. Y'all make me angry, y'all. I'm joking. I'm joking. No.
I'm not the one that's making you angry
No, no, no.
because I didn't do anything this time.
No, no, you're fine.
Okay, I don't know. Oh man, it's been an emotional week.
Why is it so off? Oh, I know what. Oh, I know what.
Keep doing that. Yeah. Be interrupted during the middle of the broadcast. Oh God, I worked at Cinecor once and it's awful. Bless him for making it 2 years. That place is so intense. I made it 6 months working there and I was well, it just there was no love and compassion there. And I have such a love and compassion heart. I was like, this doesn't feel genuine with me. And some people need it, and some people thrive there. I say all the time that there's so many different trees because nobody needs the same thing. Everybody needs something that's unique to them. Yeah. And sometimes you love someone to death. Yep.
All right, y'all. Once again, it's just one problem after another, but I think I fixed it all now. So, anyways, you wanna talk about basically how that led into your faith and whatnot, real quick again?
Okay.
Just glaze over it.
Okay.
Summarize.
S-
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
The logical step.
So yeah, so getting saved was like the logical step, right? So everybody that I went to church with was just like that's what we did, right?
Yeah.
There was nobody questioning God or questioning faith. We just that everybody was just doing the same thing, you know. And so then as an adult, actually reading the Bible for myself and not just going to church and hearing like the preacher tell us what the Bible was, and just seeing kind of contradictions between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And I had so many questions, and I really kind of started drifting in my faith in my early 20s. Um, and then doing the work, though, starting doing the counseling and seeing people come in just broken and in that broken place. Because that's what addiction does. It takes everything. It takes everything. It takes everything, not just money, not just your health, but it takes your spirit from you. It just takes everything. So you see people come in at their most broken, and you just really get to watch them heal. And I think and I really am an advocate for 12-step programs. And 12-step programs have a spiritual foundation.
If you don't mind,
And
like telling us, like what is a 12-step program?
so basically, there's so many 12-step programs, but the original 12-step program was written in the 30s by Bill W. and Dr. Bob, and it really goes along with the Bible. Honestly, like if you ever read the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it really just kind of takes the Bible and dumbs it down into like step by step instructions, kind of how to live.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, but without saying it came from the Bible, but it really does. Um, and it really uses God, but it says like the God of your understanding, and it coins the term spiritual but not religious because it says you can come from basically, any religious background. We're not turning you away, but you have to have a spiritual foundation because this is a spiritual program. But you have to have some kind of higher power, some kind of God of your understanding. You come in with a God of your understanding, and we're going to tell you how to work this program, but it really does come from the Bible. And so, learning these 12 steps and reading the big book and really just kind of matching up and seeing, and I'm probably the smartest dumb person you'll ever meet,
Oh yeah.
and so,
I can attest to this.
for real.
I can
And
attest.
so reading this really helped me get closer to the Bible and understand the Bible better. If that even, and not everybody makes those two connections and makes that leap, but for me, that's what it did for me, and it really got my faith closer, and I've heard people like, I actually went to a church and the pastor said the words spiritual but not religious, and he was not using it correctly, but and he was saying how it was like a terrible thing, and I just thought, oh my god, I just cringed a little because for me it brought me back to my faith was the AA teachings and that phrase specifically, and just seeing the broken get healed and working in with people with addiction and people who use substances and seeing the healing that just takes place because you can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
If people could just stop on their own, they wouldn't need to go to a rehab center. They wouldn't need a counseling. They wouldn't need any of
AA
these
programs
services.
and all that. Yeah.
You know, they need something bigger than themselves. And if there wasn't something bigger than themselves, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, because then they would just still do the same thing they've been doing because simply there's no one there to help. And
Right.
there's no one there to show them that there's a better way.
Right. And it's just like in physics, they say every force has an equal and opposite force.
Yeah.
Addiction is this really big, terrible force in their lives. Something's got to be bigger that's just a beautiful healing force. And me, I believe that that's God that
Yeah.
comes in their life and just, and heals them. But I don't believe that. I believe that God can just come in and heal the whole world, but I don't, I think that that's why we have tools like counseling and AA and medicine.
Yeah.
Everybody could obviously just get healed and there wouldn't be cancer or addiction or anything. But I mean, that's why we have medicines and that's why we have treatments and we have to do the things that we have to do to be well.
Oftentimes I see God as like the poster child for like ultimate healing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that's kind of like that's what you see a lot of days in a lot of people who when it comes to healing they're just thinking of like Jesus or medicine, right? Um but oftentimes I had a friend actually who went through a little bit of what you're talking about, and he told me how when he turned to Christ that it was such a big switch for him and such a big like change because he realized this world wasn't just all doom and gloom. There's
Yeah.
something better and something more powerful that can make everything beautiful and better
Yeah.
in his life. And so through him realizing that, that's how he got healed. And so I think I do agree with you. It's really beautiful to see people get changed just like that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Let me see. I got some more. Hold on. All right. This is actually a good one. I kind of wanted to ask this one anyways, but it was on the sheet as well. Why do you think faith is important for recovery?
Oh man, faith is so important for recovery. I think that when people are in that addiction place, it is such a dark, dark, hopeless place. And in order to get out, you have to have the opposite of that. You have to have that hope and that faith in something. Because that place is so dark.
Yeah.
That bottom of that addiction is so dark. And so faith is the light in it.
Yeah.
It's the light that gets you out and that keeps you out.
I feel like that's true though. Even addictions that people don't think can get dark can get dark.
It's dark. It doesn't matter if it's drugs, alcohol, it doesn't matter if it's
Sexual.
gaming, porn, sex, it doesn't matter if it's phone usage, gambling. It's dark and it's isolating.
Yeah. Cuz a lot of people I know I know I have a good couple of friends who pretty much all they do is game, and it's pretty much like an addiction to them. And you can tell just by how much they play and just how much they play these
It's
games.
consuming.
And don't get me wrong, playing games is fun,
For sure.
but not for like the amount of times that they do it. They do it like all day. And
It gives you the happy chemicals.
I talk
in
to
your
them.
brain.
I talk to them a lot, and they always talk about how like they feel like their life is just kind of depressing and just like feels like they're going through a downward spiral. What do you say to that type of person that may be going through like that like area of their life? Like how do you get them out?
Before all they had was gaming, they had other things they enjoyed.
Yeah.
Ask them what they used to enjoy. Try to remind them of those things because they're in that hopeless place, but all they can think about is gaming. That's all that makes me happy. But I'm miserable. That's one of the first things when I go, because right now I'm working with adolescents, and most of the kids I work with, they just smoke marijuana, and they don't see it as a big deal. But they're in the legal system, so it is a big deal. And so I say, okay, you have to stop smoking, or you're gonna get in more trouble. So what are other things that you enjoy? That's the first thing that we talk about. What are the other things that you enjoy? And they're like, I don't really know. I like smoking weed. And I'm like, well, what did you used to enjoy? What did you used to do for fun before you smoked? And it's like a light bulb comes on, and they haven't even thought about those things in so long
Because they've been stuck on this drug
because
because
they've
they
been
think
stuck
that was better.
because they thought it was better. Because the spike of dopamine in their brain is a lot bigger than the spike they got from drawing or playing basketball or
Yeah.
whatever, because the chemicals are different in your
Yeah.
brain. And gaming gives you that big spike of dopamine too.
Fortunately enough for me, I never played a lot of games. I never like sat there. Well, okay, back when I was in like middle school, you could catch me sitting there for a good day, probably playing some games. But not anymore. Actually, recently I kind of dialed back on playing those games. Um, I really don't even touch my computer that often. Well, I mean, I do stuff for this, of course, so I have to work on it all the time. But
Yeah.
I meant like the gaming part of it, like playing Rocket League or whatever the heck else I would be playing,
Yeah.
right? And so, but at the time, I do understand what they were talking about because I was there once.
Yeah.
I understood that, but I couldn't really explain to them how I got out of it. I just kind of fizzled out, and
Because you found something else that was a reward in your brain.
yeah, and I don't even know what that was at the time. It was probably going outside playing soccer, because that was what I really loved, and I still love, but I don't do it as much. But that's really interesting. So like, I know you said like people come in and you do stuff with law enforcement as well too, right? You have to like what's the part you said? You said you do
Well,
like
I
the
work right
legals?
now with drug court.
Drug court? Okay.
So when kids get put on drug court, I am one of the 2 counselors that work with drug court.
Oh, I see. Okay. What's that like? What does your job inquire of you?
So I do in-home counseling. Once they get on drug court, I'm one of the 2 counselors, so they'll get assigned to either me or the other counselor, and then we go into the home and we meet at least once a week, and then we also do phone contact with them in between that as well, just to do check-ins and stuff. We can do text contact or have phone sessions, things like that.
Do y'all often do y'all see a big change during these like phone sessions and stuff? And how long does it usually take for these kind of changes to happen?
It really depends on how motivated the kid is when they get into the program. Some of these kids get in the program and they go, "Oh my God, I want to get off probation. Let me do the work." And then some of these kids go, "Man, I want to keep smoking. I don't know why you're in my house." So you got to try to motivate those kids first before you can even start the counseling. So it really just depends on where the motivation starts.
So what does motivation look like? I guess is my next question.
It's finding a motivation that's bigger than smoking.
Yeah.
So why should we stop smoking? What's a goal that would be a reason to stop smoking? Because obviously getting off probation is not one.
Yeah.
And it can look like anything. Some of my kids are getting kind of close to 18. So it's, okay, well, I want to be able to get a job and pass a drug screen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that would look like after you're off drug court even. Especially if you want to get in the plants or something like that. Let's look at that. Let's look at how much you hate your PO, man. Don't you want to stop having him come to your house 3 times a week and
That's
drug
what I'm
screen
saying.
you? Let's look at whatever I can find motivation, man. Whatever.
Whatever you hate the most.
You
Just
know?
give me that. Just
Or is it replacing something? Maybe you're smoking because you have anxiety. What if we had a better way to cope with anxiety and you didn't have to smoke?
hey, that's
And then you didn't need it.
they would be like,
So it's just finding whatever the actual motivator is.
yeah. And oftentimes, do you have like kids who are like scared of the legal system? Like
No.
when they come to you, like are any of them like at all
No.
scared? Because I know I'm scared.
Not even a little bit.
That's funny. I mean, I can see why, but like
They're annoyed with the legal system, but they're not scared.
because me personally, whenever I get even close to a police officer in traffic, I'm like, All right.
No, that's not the kids that get to me.
I mean, I could tell. They're clearly the smoking. They're doing all this, but like that's.
These are not the kids I get.
You're sitting here like I wish.
That would make my job so much easier.
No, but what I guess the way that I worded it was a bit weird. What I meant like is when people come to you, like, do you ever have kids who come to you and who are like, yeah, I smoke and all this stuff. They don't want you to like tell the police. I mean, clearly that would be something they would want. They don't.
I mean, sometimes they will, and sometimes they'll even try to hide it from me at first, even though I'm seeing their drug screens. And I'm like, you're telling me you're not smoking, but your drug screens determine that that's a lie.
That's a lie.
But, you know, so you have to just establish some trust with them and be like, hey, you're not going to get a consequence from me if you admit to me that you're smoking. I'm just here to talk to you about it. I'm not your PO. I don't even work with the POs. Like, I'm a whole different company. They just hired me
They just hired me
to come talk to you.
just to come say hi. Unfortunately, you have to sit here with me, the crazy lady, and we're gonna talk about how the fact that you need to get off.
The crazy lady with purple hair, you know.
Yeah, that's
no
me.
big deal. So,
No, but yeah, I think that's it's so hard, like, cause like I don't understand it myself, cause whenever I see people who vape, and I actually got offered like vaping and stuff during
Mhm.
school, I of course said no,
good.
but just to kind of see like some of my friends get into that, or they're not my friends anymore, but that's a whole nother reason.
Yeah.
There was a whole nother reason for that, but basically it's really hard to see them go through that because I know that there's other outlets that they could take.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I know one of my friends who actually just they texted me last Saturday before the podcast, and they asked me one of the questions that I asked on there, and it seems like they're watching my stuff, and you know they're getting into faith, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's what I want. You know, that's kind of like the whole reason why I built this, is to, you know, see people come to Christ. And I know it's got to be something with you as well, because you're doing your job because you want to see people saved. You don't want to
Yeah.
see people broken, as you mentioned earlier. And so I could just imagine. Do you ever get stressed about your job?
100%.
Like, what's the most stressful part about your job?
Right now, it's the legal system. It's so broken. Right now it's the legal system itself. It's seeing kids that should have a chance. I had a kid who recently just got sent for 12 months to do some jail time because the DA was just going after him, man. And I had a plan for him. They found a gun in his trunk. They searched his car 3 times. Like, the police kind of knew him. You know, like, once you get a name for yourself, the police know you are. So they pulled him over. He wasn't even the one driving.
And then they just kind of...
And then they saw he was in the car. They knew it was his car. So they just kept searching until they found something. And they found something in the trunk. He wouldn't even have access to grab it. You know, like,
Yeah.
come on.
And
But and it was the 3rd time they searched it where they finally found it. Well, and the DA just went after him. And so we were trying to get him into a rehab and then 6 months into a sober living. The rehab had accepted him. The sober living had accepted him, provided he got into, completed the treatment. But the DA just wouldn't go for it.
so
And it's just like, jail's not going to fix this kid. That's not what he needs.
yeah. What was it? Yeah, what was his age?
He had just turned 18.
Just turned 18? I feel bad. Because, he wasn't even going to do anything. I mean, according to you, and according to what I can hear, it sounds like he just got chased after.
No.
It sounds like he just got chased after.
Should he have got the gun? No.
No.
He made a bad decision when he was loaded. He was getting loaded. He needed help.
Yeah.
But
And
he didn't have access. He couldn't have done anything with the gun. He didn't have access to grab it. It was way in his trunk.
yeah, so
You know, it wasn't like he had intent to use it or anything like that. Did he have possession of it? Yes, technically, it was in his trunk.
yes.
He did have he did have it. But it's like, give this kid a chance. He made a bad decision. Give this kid a chance, though.
Yeah.
He's not going to get better going to jail for 12 months. He's going to get out the same person that he was going in.
Yeah, cuz doesn't jail ruin a lot of people?
Yeah. Things were in line. We had a whole plan for him.
Doesn't jail just kind of like also ruin a lot? Like cuz they get worse as well sometimes, occasionally.
Well, I mean, a lot of times people in jail, they make new contacts or, you know, different things. But, I mean, he was a fentanyl user. He had all the contacts he needed.
So
Worse there.
my just to kind of stray off of this subject real quick. My big brother Bo absolutely wants me to read this to you.
Okay.
So, give me ask her how the smoking thing worked with medical marijuana.
What does he mean?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is he texting you? Cuz he wants something. What kind of answer does he want? I'll call him.
Put him on speakerphone. Put him on
We're
the
making
show.
we're making a live call. Nobody's going to be able to hear him, but you know.
Put him on the show.
Yeah, he's right here.
Hello.
Hey, you're on live.
I'm on live. Okay.
Okay, so let me
All that, babe.
what kind of question do you want to ask Miss Kaley here? Cuz I saw you trying to get my attention.
Attention set. What's going on, Miss Kaley? How you doing?
Oh, doing okay. How's it going?
We're like delayed right now. I'm watching it on the TV. So, as you know, my mother, I think it was my mother you were talking to, graduated Synacor and all that.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. So like the big thing right now is, oh, well, I've got a medicinal license. So, you know, I've even had buddies that are on probation and, you know, they have a medicinal license and they can smoke.
Yeah.
So how does that work with the whole drug court situation? Because I actually had a friend, you know, we were way younger and all this wasn't how it is in the world now, but you know, how does that work from, you know, 2011, 2010 to nowadays being able to access some of these decriminalized drugs?
So I cannot speak for adult drug court. I know that adult drug court in the past has been way behind the times of accepting things. Like when Suboxone came out, for example, they did not allow Suboxone in drug court for a long time, even though we knew that that was a good medicine to put people on, and was going to prevent opioid deaths. I don't know if they allow medicinal marijuana in the adult drug court. I work in the juvenile drug court, and medicinal marijuana is not approved for minors, so we don't have that issue, because because they can't get that. But I can't really attest to the adult drug court because they kind of keep us a little bit separate.
Okay.
Because they try to keep the minors away from the adults.
No, I would just like to do a jail DOC rather than just city cop. Anywho, yeah.
But honestly, I think that we need a lot more research on medicinal marijuana. But I think that if there's something out there, I think I'm a big supporter of things like Suboxone. I'm a big supporter of medications that help. And I think that if we get the research that shows that marijuana is helpful, I'm a big supporter of that too.
I'm a big supporter of, like, okay, and I have a big thing with this whole opiate war that's going on right now. That's a big killer right now. It's not the opiates, it's the fentanyl.
Well, fentanyl's in everything right now. There is no opiates anymore.
Yeah, of course. Very much And I actually went through Centacor, and a lot of people have OD'd, not just in these recent past 2-3 years, but even in the last 7 years, the I'm gonna say the kill rate is gone up because, and everything that I've been told is because you go to this buyer and get it, and it's said good, and then you go to another one because that one's not available. The fentanyl may be higher, and you do your same dosage, and you die. You don't think about it, but you're just trying to catch how an addict is in their mind frame, catch their head. Because as an addict, we think about instant gratification. We always want that. I did a good job, good boy.
Yeah. Oh, and sometimes it's just about getting well.
You all right, buddy? Sorry, my son just did a whole flip of the running walker. And so I say that because I like that you're on here because it actually it shows a different side of faith to the addict, because the serenity prayer says it all. To accept the things I cannot change.
Yes.
The willing to do so. I can't remember it all. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I just let go, let God, and live the golden rule and the mustard seed. Because that's all He asks. And
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Thank you for sharing your question with us. Unfortunately, I do have to let you go.
okay, Mom, thanks for kicking me off.
Love you. Bye. He knew it too. He knew it too. That was funny.
That's awesome. Mom, thanks for kicking me off.
He knew it. He knew it. He knows. He knows who really runs the show over here. But anyways, so basically, give me a summarize because I couldn't understand what y'all were talking about.
Okay.
So give me a summarize about what y'all were talking about.
So he was asking about like medicinal marijuana, because right now it's, a lot of states are going towards recreational and medicinal marijuana being legal, and how that impacts drug courts and things. And like I said, I can't attest to what our adult drug court is doing because they keep us kind of separate. I have no idea if they allow that in the adult drug court here in 14th Judicial in Lake Charles. Right. So for juveniles are not medicinal marijuana is not approved for for minors. So
I would
we don't have
assume
that issue.
the reason for that though is because medicinal marijuana doesn't also have some of the same aspects as street marijuana, or no? Like, what's the difference?
There's not one.
There's not one.
It's marijuana.
It's just marijuana. Good old
It's actually probably more potent marijuana because it's
medicinal.
It's grown and cultivated with a lot of strict agricultural guidelines, and then it's the way it's cultivated. There's no corners cut.
Yeah.
Right.
So
there's nobody tampering with it.
I guess what I need to understand is why is marijuana being used and what is it used for?
So there's a lot of, okay, so in the 70s, there were a lot of substances that were starting to be used for recreational use. Granted,
Yeah.
The hippies and stuff were using marijuana, they were using LSD and hypnotics and all these things.
They were getting lit at those.
But there were also a lot of people in college settings using these things to try to see if there was a medicinal value. Even like in Harvard and stuff, people like Timothy Leary and things. And the government came in and shut that down. They were like, drugs are bad, okay?
Drugs are bad, okay?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So
Drugs are bad, okay?
okay. So so they were like, no thank you. Drugs are bad. Can't do that.
Can't.
Can't sit here. So recently, a lot of places have started to do those testing again. So there's testing, and they're actually have approved like ketamine, which has been a street drug for a long time.
What is ketamine?
It's categorized as like a hypnotic, but it's used like as a club drug kind of.
Okay.
It is it's being used to treat depression. It's got some mild like hallucinatory kind of. It's like a
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's got some
and
stuff.
it's got some long term. It's got a long use. A long effectiveness. So it's like a 4 hour. You go to the
That's-
doctor's
that's-
office and it's like a 4 hour
4 hour
little
trip.
window trip that you're in the doctor's office, but it's very effective. They're finding that it's like super effective. You go to these like 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know exactly how many. I've read the
I'm guessing
clinical
it's in a
trials, but they've
controlled
done
space
these
though, definitely.
100%. It's controlled doses. It's controlled, aspects.
Yeah.
But they found that it's so effective in treating people with depression, and that you go to like 4 doses of this, and your depression is better long term, versus having to take an antidepressant daily that has all these side effects.
I heard. So, give me the rundown on antidepressants, because I hear they're just like drugs that are just supposed to. You think that you're taking them to be happy, so that's why you're happy, or they're or the other side of the spectrum is like they're really bad. What's the?
The thing about antidepressants are there are so many.
Yeah.
And depression is kind of a complicated thing. It's not like this one chemical causes depression in the brain.
Yeah.
So it's a trial and error of like trying to figure out which antidepressant's going to work based on where your depression is and what kind of chemical problems you're actually having. And so it's like seeing what's happening and what antidepressant you need. And if you get the wrong one, it can actually make the depression worse. So some doctors were actually starting to go towards like genetic testing, because if you do genetic testing, it'll tell you like this antidepressant is going to be the best one for you. Period. This is what you need. And insurance companies will not cover that.
They don't cover
They don't cover genetic testing.
genetic. Okay.
It's like $200 at a lab. But it'll come back and tell you all the things that all the medications you need and what you should not take. And I mean, it's like, if you ever read a genetic testing report, it's amazing, because it'll tell you exactly like no trial and error, just what medicines are effective. It's cool.
I don't think I've ever done I don't think I ever needed to, so I don't think I have.
No, most people haven't. It's like companies like 23andMe and stuff like that. They do that. One of the companies I worked for, Townsend, did genetic testing, and that's how we used to prescribe medication.
Is that what does 23andMe do that type of stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe we should take one.
They do a full
I think that would be kind of cool.
You can do an ancestry one or the medical one.
I'll do both.
Yeah, or you can do both.
When you send it off, you indicate which one you want.
Yeah, it's
okay.
super cool.
After you spit in a jar.
Yeah, you got to use your saliva.
I'd like to do it. I think that would be kind of fun.
It's really neat. I want to do it.
Have you done one?
I've never done. I want to. I've been saying I want to for years. I don't know why I haven't done it.
I think it'd be cool to see who I'm related to. Like way
The
down.
ancestry.
Like way down. But
I'm related to probably everybody in Mossbluff, so I don't know that I want to.
related to my mom by like five whole family trees down. How long have you been here in Mossbluff?
My family was part of the people who founded Mossbluff.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's
You know, like by the middle school, Don Manuel Boulevard, that takes you to Don
Yeah.
Manuel Sports Complex where the ball fields are.
yeah.
That's my grandfather.
Oh.
Champagne Circle? Yeah. Yeah. But it's no longer there. So sad. They tore it down.
But
I
anyway,
can't even drive down that road anymore.
So, man, yeah, you answered all my questions really well. Shoot,
Thank you.
I did not expect you to answer them that well.
Wait, because you thought I was going to be terrible?
No.
Sheesh.
I mean, so normally when people come on here, they're a bit nervous at first, and so it takes me a while to kind of get them warmed up. But you just went straight into it, just like Miss Smith and a couple of other good ones.
Do
So-
a lot of speeches.
I can tell.
Lectures and-
I can tell. You're way better at speaking than I am.
Do a lot of speaking.
Yeah. I tried to last Tuesday, but you know how that went.
It'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that. But I guess one of the closing things is where are you at now with your walk with Jesus? Like, where are you at?
I actually am in a period of deconstruction. Um, the some of the things that I grew up being fed in the church that I grew up, I feel like were damaging,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I don't feel like are true biblical beliefs as I learn more and grow more. And I don't feel like we're founded in true, because as Jesus walked the earth, he just, he taught how to love others, how to serve, and how to act, right? How to be, how to be. And I think that a lot of things that I grew up being fed by my church and by my church leaders, I won't say like just the church in general, but by the people that I look to, um, were not founded biblically,
I see.
but just were more man-made ideals.
And more man, I just I see.
Yeah. And so I'm in a period of deconstructing what actually is biblical and what actually my faith should look like and what is really truly biblical and what's in the Bible and what Jesus actually taught versus what I was taught that was not.
Because you said you were raised mostly like, what was your dominion?
We were Assemblies of God, which I always kind of described as Pentecostal without the rules.
Pentecost. Okay.
So we just could cut our hair and wear pants, but we were Pentecostal, basically.
Basically, so
Yeah.
y'all really focused on a lot of worship, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and a lot of just on a lot of like hierarchies, and everybody had a place, and and it was a lot of, I don't want to say like brainwashing, but I want to say brainwashing.
Just a lot of brainwashing. All right. So, what church do you go to now?
Mossbluff United Methodist.
Really?
I do.
I don't think I've seen you.
Oh, really? That's crazy. I'm there every Tuesday.
Huh?
There every Tuesday.
Well, okay. I mean, like Sunday service wise.
Well,
Do y'all go to church on Sundays? I should
We
ask.
go to church. We try to go to church most Sundays. In the spring, we have had to miss a lot of Sundays historically because of dance competition season. But now we're done with that, so we won't have to anymore.
So you're gonna drag Allie and them to church?
I drag them to church every time we go.
Oh yeah. Do
I
you
don't think I have to drag them very much, though.
really?
I just wake them up.
Really?
They just get
Do
ready.
they question? So I know that you come in with your posse of kids.
Yeah.
Do all of them want to come to Tuesdays, or do they just come
No,
because you
they-
tell them to?
No, they like to go on Tuesdays.
Really?
Yeah.
You're being serious?
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm glad.
I started coming on Tuesdays because they were there and needed a ride home. That's how I got started.
Oh, okay.
And then I just started coming earlier to help out. And then
And-
it
now-
just grew
now-
into something more.
Now you just got placed into
Yeah.
like kind of being my boss. If y'all didn't know, she's my new boss.
Collaboration. I go where God leads me.
Well, that's great.
Obviously, God wanted me there, so that's where I'm at.
God wants you there, and I'm glad to have you, and we're all glad to have you. I can tell you that for sure. And I know Miss Kathy's really glad that you help out, with the counseling part of most of the stuff, helping us understand that, we're not alone in this world, and that there's people out there like you who help us out with that type of stuff. And so I'm really glad you came on today to talk a lot about, addiction counseling and how that works, because I really didn't understand a lot of it. And I try to get as much substance out of these as much as possible to try and help other people understand that this is something that you do, and also you feel really passionate about it, and that it helps a lot of people, and maybe it helps people like them as well. So thank you for coming on. And
And you're welcome.
would you like me to do you have any prayer requests before we get to praying out?
Only 10:25, and we did get a late start. Did you want to go on a little bit?
No. I don't have much else.
Because I wanted to ask her if she.
I guess we're not gonna pray out then. Mom, yes.
The boss has a question.
Oh, my fault.
I was just curious, in your line of work, have you seen anybody, like children, juveniles, moved, like have that aha moment where they found, hey, I believe in God, I need him to help me with this. Have you noticed it, seen it, yourself witnessed it?
Um, I don't know that. Do you want me to repeat the question since you don't have a microphone?
Yeah, you
Okay,
probably
so the
should.
question was like, have I noticed, with working with like adolescents and the juveniles I work with, like the aha moment of like being moved with, I need to find faith or God or something like that. Um, I don't know that I found like an aha moment necessarily, but I think there I have worked with several kids who have been self-proclaimed atheists. Um, yeah, who have, while working with them, and I don't personally share my Ooh. I don't personally share my faith. I don't preach or anything like that because I keep the counseling sessions about them. But I do just share the love of Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like without saying, I just share unconditional love because Jesus loved everyone that he walked. Every time he met someone, he just showed them that love, no matter who they were. In his walk, as he met people, as he sat with people, whether they were a leper, whether they were a priest, everybody he walked with, he sat with, he showed them the same love. And so I try to do that with the kids that I work with everybody I encounter, but especially with those kids I work with, because I find that a lot of them have not encountered that before, with their families especially. Um, and so I try to just show them love and just acceptance, no matter what they tell me. And they tell me everything. And sometimes I wish they weren't so comfortable with me. And I tell them that sometimes I'm like, I just love our relationship, and I just love that you're so open with me. But I wish you were less open with me in this particular topic.
Because I bet you get all the kind of wild
Oh my goodness!
topics.
Once I build that trust, they tell me everything. But I had two specific ones that were just atheists, and
Oh,
through
shoot, stop. What? No, it's not.
We're on here too, we're live.
okay. Well,
But anyway, they were two atheists.
you want me to wait until you have that done, or?
At this point, it's been a mess. Mess of a street.
This is still going live, and I have yours
Okay.
It's not the one that matters.
It's not the one that matters, Mom. Sheesh.
So, okay, I think we're just going to end it.
Okay, but I'm on live and
Well, I'll finish my question real quick on live.
because I was interested in.
Okay, so the two people I just through working with them, they started bringing up questions on spirituality and questions on, and they started questioning what I believe, and they started just kind of asking on their own, like, hey, I'm starting to just kind of think about this kind of thing, and what do you believe about the Bible, or what do you believe about this? And so we were able to have those conversations because they brought it up. And so that has been like the most, I don't want to say like aha moments, but the most, for me, really special moments because, I try to just show love and and that's it. And that's what I feel like I'm, called to do. But because they brought it up, I was able to just kind of share some things with them, and 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 so they were able to, and they were able to just kind of go on their journey of, figuring things out, and I think that they had maybe some bad experiences and which turned them atheists, with maybe some family or some, some there's some people out there that have a lot of judgment or, whatever. And especially once they start, using, people, it's so taboo and people start treating them differently. Yeah. So, yeah.
What's the youngest youth you've worked with? 13.
13.
Oh my gosh, stop asking questions, Nick. Please.
13. So, and 13 to me is older than what I thought. I thought you would have said something younger.
Alright.
Are you back now?
Yep.
You can't.
Unfortunately, this is how we're gonna have to work it. No, you stay right there. I'm a little mad if you can't talk.
Don't be mad, be glad.
I am very glad, but it was like, why did you have
Good
to run out
recovery.
fast?
Do you need to list 5 things that you see and 4 things that you feel and 3 things that you
For
hear?
counseling. Josh.
Something like that.
But he can't even hear your question right now.
2 things that you smell.
So what does that do? Bring him back down to earth?
Your brain can't be emotional and logical at the same time. So if you force your brain to be logical and think about what's around you, then you can't be mad and angry.
Like that. I think a lot of teachers could use that sometimes in their classrooms, probably to help.
Sorry about that, folks, but we are back.
And we're back.
It's been problem after problem this morning. I'm so sorry.
It's me. I'm the problem.
No. But it's on me, y'all. I will make sure. Hopefully, next time we will have a smoother broadcast. But today, it's been a bit rocky, so I'm trying my best, y'all. But anyways, what was the question y'all were on about?
About different age groups. And an interesting tip about can't be emotional and logical at the same time.
You said you were angry, so I asked. I was giving you a coping skill.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm not angry. I'm just a little frustrated because like usually I do everything before stream and everything works flawlessly and great. But apparently my battery pack wasn't charged. I had, timing off on your mic. And then,
The big book of Alcoholics Anonymous says, and acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today.
acceptance that I knew failure is going to be a part of life. That's the only acceptance I have right now.
And acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. It doesn't say acceptance to. It just says
Acceptance.
acceptance is the answer to all of my problems.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I have acceptance that I was going to fail at some point today. So maybe this morning was the acceptance point,
You're welcome.
So thank you.
I'm so glad I could be that for you.
And I don't feel any better. That was some hiccups. You overcame every one of them.
Well, she says that. We're sitting over here with a nice little guy right there, little pop-up.
Is it working though?
Oh, it works.
Well, then it's not a failure.
Yeah, we should be fine. Here, let me just for an extra check of loo.
Of course, Big Brother Bo's been texting me. I don't know what he's saying. Yeah.
So yeah, it works. Hey, we're good.
Woohoo.
Huh?
Did you ask Bo?
No, I'm not gonna ask Bo. But no, but
He said we've asked him enough.
well, yeah, we've asked him enough. I think.
Get back that mustard.
Mustard seed. Oh yeah.
Every time I talk to you lately, we end with the mustard seed.
Hey, listen. It's a good one. He's right. It's a good thing to know.
But I'm gonna get him another book or something to read because when he goes past the mustard seed,
I mean, it works. Listen, I mean, hey, when you have like
That's some book recommendations.
when you have those like young teens, you know, sometimes you gotta remind them, like, you know, in life everything hates them. They may feel that way, but you know, God loves them and cares for them, and all you gotta tell them is, hey, all you need is the size of a mustard seed, and you know, blessings upon blessings upon blessings. Hey, listen.
Listen, Linda.
I was trying to, you know, tell them that, you know, that saying is a good saying, no doubt. But the way Bo uses it is he uses it a little too often, but it's okay.
Sometimes it be like that.
I agree. She had nothing to come back with, so she was like, sometimes it be like that.
I say that a lot, actually.
Yeah, when you have nothing, yeah, that's
Just
sometimes
Just my
it be
quip.
like that. I don't really know because now I'm kind of stuck. I got off track, and you know, we had all that stuff, and so maybe God is showing me that, you know, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this.
Amen, brother.
You come on. I'm joking. But you don't understand it. She doesn't know. She doesn't understand. I'll show her the video after.
Okay.
Yeah, she's an old granny. She's like 60. She's getting there. But anyways, so yeah, we're kind of coming close to the time to coming off. So,
Okay.
I think the last question I'll end you off with is I've already asked you how, like, where God's coming, but where do you think God is headed in your life? Where I asked where you are now. Where do you think God is headed with your life?
Man, I am in such a transition place. I have no idea
You have no
to
idea.
say that. One thing I've wanted to do for a long time is go back to school and get. So I have worked with addiction counseling since 2009. And addiction counseling, it just goes hand in hand with like mental health and with trauma. And so one thing I've wanted to do for a long time is get this EMDR training, which is a specialty trauma training, but you can't get it unless you are a licensed professional counselor, which is a mental health degree licensure. And I don't have that. So I'm in the process of being in grad school to get that.
So you're going back to school.
So I'm in grad school. I'm in the thick of it right now, working towards mental health counseling, mental health degree, so that I can be an LPC. So I'll be an LAC, which is licensed addiction counselor, LPC, to do mental health counseling, and I'll be able to get that trauma certification. So I'll have kind of the trifecta, which has been just really been put on my heart, I believe, by God. But I don't know where that's going to take me.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that I've been called to get that.
I think
And
that's
I
good
have
though.
no idea where I'm supposed to go from there. I just know the door's going to open when it's supposed to.
You're right. I mean,
so I don't know. I don't know what God has for me.
I'll put it to you this way. My mom didn't know what God had for me until she saw a bunch of this stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
you heard that story earlier.
Yeah.
While y'all were just talking.
Yeah.
But I think most of the time people get really confused at, like, you know, when I ask that question, because they're like, you know what, I don't know. And I feel like that's an okay answer. That's a good answer. You don't have to answer with, I know everything and I know exactly where I'm going to go and I know exactly how this is going to happen. It's just, you know that you're supposed to be doing this thing. You're working towards this thing. But you just don't know where that's going to lead you. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's okay. And God's
Yeah.
going to make that apparent to you when the time comes.
Yeah, I feel like if I made too many plans, then I would be closing off the door that God probably has for me. So I'm just leaving that open and trusting and getting this degree and doing all this grad school work and
Stressing
Lord
you
have
out, isn't it?
but I'm doing it.
That smile tells it all. It's
But I'm
stressing her
doing
out,
it.
but she's got this.
I'm doing it.
But I'm doing it. So I think last thing I gotta ask, do you have any prayer requests?
The gentleman that I talked about earlier, I can't share his name, that got the 12 months time. I would like to say a little, lift him up.
Lift him up.
I would like to lift him up, and just in his journey.
All right. Would y'all like to pray? All right. Dear Lord, thank you for letting us come here today. Thank you for letting us come here every morning on Saturday, dear Lord, and just come to praise you and thank you for everything you've done. I would just like to especially pray over Kaley as she goes throughout this this time of uncertainty and in this time of working hard to get her degrees and get all her stuff straight so that way she can do better, a better service for you, dear Lord. I just thank you that she's here today to talk with us and that she talked really well about drug counseling and about substance abuse counseling and all that. I would just really like to lift up her one of hers, I guess I could call like students or child in need of help. I know that he just went to prison, and I just pray that you're going to be with him throughout that, and that you're going to protect him and heal his heart, and just pray that that he'll come to know you, dear Lord, and that he'll come to get better with you, dear Lord. Just thank you for this day, and thank you for everything you've done in my life and that you're doing in these people's lives that come on here, dear Lord. In your great name I pray. Amen.
Amen.